Okay, folks, apologize for chiming in. Time check. We reached the hour at this point, and several people will need to drop. Uh, Thank you so much. We received more than 55 questions. This is mind blowing. It's amazing. We're going to be following up later on. So thanks, Agustin. Thanks, Nico. Thanks, the SDK team members for joining. And Pablo, up to you to close.
Okay, thanks everyone from the foundation. Thanks everyone from the community that came here to listen to us. Thank Agustin Ferreira and Yemel for being here too. And when we have the recording and the GitHub completed, we will send you on Discord. We will spread the word and the information. And we have the next chapter of the SDK Ask Me Anything in 1 month. So I hope everyone came again to join this space. I think it's very important to have this moment together and to share information for sure. So thank you very much. If someone wants to say something, we have just a minute, but the people that has to go ahead. That's it. Thank you very much for joining.
Thank you.
Gianni, you can speak for a minute, but I cannot guarantee that everyone will be here.
In a second, who should I follow up these questions with? Just from the perspective of prioritization on platform-based priorities from the perspective of the DAO. So we're having a lot of good conversations at the moment with regards to how we're going to be allocating priorities as a community. And I think conversations with the team, obviously with the foundation that's tasked with developing the platform, is important in that regard to understand where we can help and where we can't, just to ensure like there's no double funding or unclarity in that regard. So I'd like to see who's best to follow.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing all right. Doing all right. Just dropped out of the AMA.
Yeah, that was interesting. A lot of it was like totally over my head, but I got a little bit towards the end. I could understand what they were talking about with the SDK.
Yep. Towards the end, I was like, okay, they're coming back down towards my level of at least general understanding.
Yep, totally. Good morning, UMAC. Good morning, Vivi. Welcome.
I may have shamelessly plugged the Twitter space in their chat.
So. I had it on mute, so I did not hear that part.
Oh no, I did it in the chat, the typing chat.
Nice. I bet
it's not as shameless.
Yeah, I bet UMAC. I bet you understood a lot more of what they were talking about with the SDK. My guess would be that you did. Good morning, Frisky.
Hello, Frisky. So nice to see you this morning.
Oh no, I saw a thumbs down on UMAC. Oh no, UMAC, thumbs down. I don't know if that was like thumbs down, good morning, or thumbs down like you didn't understand what they were talking about with the SDK. Good morning, Scott and Dr. Drip. Good morning.
That was a thumbs down. I didn't hear any of it, but I probably wouldn't have understood it anyway. So
Yeah, they were talking a lot about the SDK7 coming out and like when kind of the beta, or actually they called it the alpha, I guess. And then there's going to be a beta, like when that is going to come out. So that was kind of interesting just to see like the timeline. So it sounds like the 28th of November is when the alpha is coming out for like grant recipients. And then December is when it's going to come out to like the next wave of people. I think I took those notes right. And good morning, Jim. Good morning, Mariana. Scott, I think I said good morning, but I'll say it again. Good morning. Welcome. We are on Parcel if anybody wants to join us. It's probably the last fireside chat for a while on my land. I haven't put it back into the big parcel because I need like ETH to cover all the gas fees. Like every time you dissolve your state and put it back together, you got to pay a little bit of gas. So I'm like stuck in this for a while, which is good because like the campfire, it's really cozy.
I do have to say, I like the campfire. I like the chairs in front of it. I'm about to sit myself here. There we go. I think this.
Yeah, after seeing where that chair is sitting, I realized I messed it up. I didn't, my intern was in charge of putting the chairs around the fire, and she did not like put them in order. So I apologize. She should have done a better job with those chairs. The chairs that we're sitting in, they're like super high triangles. And so I couldn't put more in than that. Like it's funny that some objects just, way max out like the threshold of triangles. And they don't look super complicated, but these are fancy chairs.
Poor Alicia, you just picked on her for her chair distribution.
I know. She's gonna quit one of these days. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do all the work myself, I guess.
You're gonna have to be nice to her.
I mean, she gets my coffee order right, so I know I should lighten up.
Speaking of coffee, I need to get some for myself.
And mine is lukewarm, and it's like 3 hours old, but yeah.
Good enough.
Good morning, Nikki. Good morning, Brandon. Welcome.
Yeah, I would like to welcome Frisky to the speaker panel. How are you doing today?
Hey, good morning, guys. How you guys doing? Thanks for having me on the speaker panel. My bad. I was just trying to type some notes up. I have a new lead, and he's from from a different organization, and super strict, man. So it's been tough doing doing certain projects with him. Like, man, but ultimately makes me better as a writer. So I see some benefits of it. But yeah, I just want to do a quick shout out to the whole crowd. I see a lot of legends. Dr. Drip, Mariana, my sister, freaking legend, Brandon Mattis, Odd Job, Nikki Fuego, the whole crowd. Just want to say thanks again for tuning in. You guys are awesome. And yeah, I just left the meeting recently with the SDK, and I was, all of it was just like alien language to me, because I was like, oh man, I do recall trying to open Visual Studios before and trying to mess around with it, and yeah, my PC for some reason, as soon as I opened up Visual Studios, it just sounded like it was going to explode. I was like, all right, that's it, man. I can't abort. But yeah, just want to say good morning and thanks for having me on stage.
Yeah, thank you for being here. We were saying before, it might have been before you came on, we were trying to figure out if Sinful, UMAC, and I understood any of the SDK talk, and we got a little bit, but I think, yeah, it shows me how much I have still to learn. But it was interesting. Like, I think other people were asking good questions, and so that's really cool to see, like, community members, like if they ask a question, other people, it might be a question other people have as well. So that's a really cool forum, just to kind of get that information out there more easily accessible. And good morning, KJ, and it looks like XCoolX. Good morning and welcome.
Seeing a couple new faces this morning. If anyone that is new to Decentraland has any questions, just feel free to request to come up to speak. This is an open panel. And also to all our friends, please like, retweet, tell all your friends. Let's fill the room up. Good morning, X Cool X. How are you doing today?
Hey everyone, good morning. How's everyone doing? Really excited to see you guys all in here. Haven't been in some of the Decentraland stuff for a little over a year now, and I seen UMAC in this convo here, how to pop in. I was like, man, I miss seeing that name around town. That was cool. Yeah, I just wanted to hop in. I remember being part of the ICO, the original ICO that got this whole party started for Decentraland years ago. So being able to see where it's come from then till now, it's absolutely amazing, regardless of whatever, increase in value or the art that's been, just everything that's been established from then. To being able to tell my friends like, oh, we'll have a metaverse one day, trust, I just invested in this company called Decentraland. And to see where it's at now is just something that's like beyond, really. Like, I can't even explain. I don't even have questions, really. I just kind of wanted to share that. It's really cool when you get to see Decentraland people coming together, especially like UMAC. I've seen UMAC's name just like everywhere. When I was popping around, at the MetaFest and all the different stuff last year, I was really in the heat of the moment. Actually, I remember seeing Nikki's name around a lot. Doctor. It's just crazy. It'd be cool if Stoney was in here too, huh? Missed that guy's shows. Some good concerts right there. But yeah, I don't know. Not really many questions. Just I guess if I had one question, it would be if we ever found an answer to the multiple user accounts on one IP address. If there was ever a back-end server solution to apprehend that. I know I was blocked quite a few times for like helping my family out on my computer. So it was just really interesting to know that something with the name Decentra in it was definitely a centralized back-end security platform. And me being in the security field, I was just wondering if there was any update ever on that back-end security you guys were working on to help with the influx of like fake accounts and just stuff like that. It was just some crazy days last year, really.
Are you talking like I'm thinking specifically like Decentral Games and like multiple accounts playing ice poker? I know that was a big issue where the IP addresses were traced. Is that what you're speaking of? Or just
ice poker was one of them. When the Last Slice was doing their new version of like the Pope to try to like make a difference in like how people were getting I don't know, like hundreds of popes on like one profile, you know what I mean? Like just a little bit of all of that. I noticed there was a lot of different vectors for where that became a problem for a lot of users.
So this past music festival, I did hear that there was kind of a blocker for like multiple wallets claiming wearables at the festival under like the same IP. So I mean, I couldn't say that it's widely used to this point, but it's I mean, it got implemented into the music festival, so perhaps maybe we'll start to see it a little more often.
Yeah, it's great to hear. I definitely didn't like seeing like someone standing in the crowd the whole time and not getting something that they were standing there for the whole time, Another like malicious actors.
Have you heard about like what the True Band Room has done with their popes or their POAPs? They've turned them into show apps.
No, that'd be maybe something cool to like maybe talk about or bring up. I'm actually clueless to that. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, pretty revolutionary, I think, as far as like a attendance token. So In the past you'd get the POAP by going to the machine, and so it would just be flooded with bots or just users trying to come in and get the token but not actually attend the show. So what they did is make the attendance token automatic, that you would get it for being in the venue for a certain amount of time. And I don't know if I don't see Shelly in the crowd to speak on it, but yeah, so like you actually had to sit there and enjoy the music in order to get this attendance token. So it really, like, I think makes
It's
it
also-
so much more dynamic.
It's also based on a percentage, unless you have a VIP. So it's like a certain percentage of chance of getting it. So like if it's a large crowd, so you're not guaranteed to get it, at least from what I remember. Shelly talking about. So people that come and stay for a certain period of time, I don't know, it's like a 40% chance that you'll get it. But if you've got a unique unicorn MFT, then you get it 100% guaranteed.
Thank you, Scott. Wow, thank you for pointing that out, that there is a percentage if you're not a NFT holder. I guess I've been spoiled by my True, because I just, walk in and expect it every time. But that's a good point to bring up. And, that way with, at least as far as the True Band Room show apps, they kind of use their own NFT as a, like verification, a human verification.
Yeah, that's great news actually to hear. That's super cool.
So, a question to you, X Cool. You brought up our good friend Stony Eye. So I gotta ask you, are you coming to any events anytime soon? Have you attended any events recently?
I'm gonna have to pop in. I honestly, I was getting on there so much daily and bringing a lot of people from my Discord. Like we'd have like 10, 15 people in there at any given time just running around with us. The group kind of just lost sense of, I don't know, that was a place we could all go hang out. There's just so many things in the Web3 space to just go play with, You don't realize maybe it's even been a year, or that I missed the Meta Festival this year. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I missed that. But definitely we're going to have to make a little day of it, especially with Thanksgiving coming around and Christmas. And I'm pretty sure there's going to be some fun Christmas stuff going on. So I'm going to have to tell the people. We can all go play in there.
Go ahead, Vanessa.
X Cool. What's your name in game? I'm just, like sometimes our old friends have been coming back lately, and yeah, look, what's your name in game if I could ask?
It should be that. It should be my ETH address.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, let me see. I might just log in right now.
So if you do, you can come and sit with us at the campfire and explore. We're on the Decentraland community build right now, and we have like 10 different venues from around Decentraland that are on the same kind of 9-piece parcel. And so, yeah, if you do come in, there's actually a bunch of ways to win free wearables and also just kind of see like a little bit of what Decentraland has to offer. And you can jump off into a giant vodka bottle and swim in it.
Which is always fun.
Yeah, it stings a little, but it's fun.
Oh, that's awesome.
It would be interesting to get you. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I haven't been on in such a while that I didn't even know we could download an application now to get on. It's really cool.
Oh yeah, so you probably don't even know about emotes.
No. Yeah,
oh my
I was
goodness.
definitely waiting for years to get the download. That is awesome. We did it.
Yeah, there's we always say like a day in the metaverse is like a week in the real world. So you've missed, if you've been away for a year,
yeah,
you've missed like 20 years of progress.
Like an honest 8 months. Yeah, so I'm about like 22 years behind right now.
Yeah. So now there's emotes. You can take a bong hit. You can just like pound beers. You can dance. You can do like a 360 on a a hand plant on a skateboard. What else, guys? Dances.
Pass out.
You can twerk
pass out.
and get nasty.
You could twerk.
Hey,
you could twerk, take a bong rip, and hit a beer.
I know
Yeah.
nothing.
I love when users come back because it just speaks to how great this platform is. And XCoolX, thank you for the shout out. You make me feel so special. But I wanted to.
UMAC, you're dope, man. I've seen your name and popped in, so I even told web guy Nick to come in and come and hang out too. Hear what you guys had to say.
Yeah, and when sometimes I'll take a break and stay out of the world for a couple weeks, and then I'll come back and I'll be like, oh my god, what the hell? There's just like 20 new changes, and I'm like, no one's gonna remember me, but you pop in and everyone's like, hey, Ray. It's like you never left. So that's what I love about this place. But good to have you back.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's amazing. I think it's awesome to see everybody. It's cool. I was just having this, on a side note, I was just having this feeling last night. I was telling my brother, I was like, man, I have this like this crazy feeling, this overwhelming feeling that like all of the builders and all the different little corners of the Web3 and the metaverse and the different little areas are just like really coming together right now, especially during times like these, like not even gonna put no icing on it, but yeah, especially with times like these, like builders and developers and people that are, bringing these communities together, I think is just like tried and true. Like this is what it's about. Like it's super cool to see all you guys here and sharing info, and here I am logging in, trying to log in.
You went to the Impact New Year's Eve event last year, didn't you?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, we're having a meeting soon to get one together this year, so hope to see you there.
Yeah, definitely. I might have to finally come DJ with you guys in there.
Oh, totally. Reach out to me, and maybe I can convince Stony and to play again there. And Cromulon.
Yeah, Cromulon. Yeah.
And it's always a party when Cromulon's here.
Is Blau's house still up?
I think so. I haven't.
At the Meta Fest area event center. That was what used to be one of my favorite places to go. Was the Blau's house?
Yeah, with that light. Yeah, with that little room with all the lights shining. I don't know.
And you go on the dance stage and the lights are just like coming at you. It's like,
yeah, I remember that.
Spot if you've ever been.
In my little Excel spreadsheet with all my locations, it's so old that that's probably on there. I'll have to look and see. Let me look and hold on.
Yeah, if no one's ever been to Blau's house, that's a really, really cool spot.
Scott, take it away.
I was just waiting for like a pause in the conversation, but I'll go now. So I pinned a tweet up at the top about DCL Worlds. Earlier this week, I made a how-to video. Shout out to Madamus for helping me with that. Just answering a lot of my questions, getting to sticking points. But I just want to highlight this new feature. It's still in alpha, so it changes almost daily. Like when I first did it and I logged in to my own realm, there was a map there. Now the map's gone. So let me back up just a little bit. What DCL Worlds is that if you have a secondary level domain for Decentraland, so I'm oddjob.dcl.eth. Whenever anybody buys their name in Decentraland, that's the domain that they get. And when you buy it once and you own it forever. But with your domain name, you get to create your own realm. It's actually already there. You just have to go in and access it. So it's a new way to test things out instead of going to Heroku or Goerli test network. I think you can still use Goerli, but the video walks people through that have their own name, taking a scene that you've made in Builder and deploying it to a plot of land, which is a very empowering experience, I have to say. Just ask people out there who own their name what it was like for you when you finally were able to purchase your name in Decentraland and you got to walk around with your name, and not having the pound sign, the hash symbol after your name, and then the 4 digits, like just having your name. How powerful, how magnificent was it to have that name? And just imagine being able to take that name and then create a scene, just to even play around. Frisky Bumblebee, you were talking about using Visual Studio and how it ramped up your computer. I mean, you don't even need Visual Studio. If everything works properly, you might not need Visual Studio. But to build a scene in Builder, and then to upload it to your realm, because you've got a name. So we've talked earlier, months and months ago, I know Tobik was on here about having land, increasing the amount of land. Well, this effectively increases the amount of land. You can upload about 200 megabytes worth of content, and I believe Madam has told me that works out to be about 12 or 13 parcels worth of build. So imagine what you could do with a 3x4 estate in your realm, just like going to a place in Spatial or Monoverse or whatever. You've got a very specific URL. Well, now it's play.decentraland.zone, and then it's / and then realm equals, and then it's your name. So it's realm equals oddjob.dcl.eth. And then you got to do coordinates or whatever, but it'll just drop you in 0, 0. So anyway, I just wanted to let everybody know about that and to encourage people to try it. And let's start hosting parties in our own realms.
Thank you, Ajab. I do have a couple questions to you, but I'm gonna pass it over to UMAC real quick to see if she found that screenshot or post of that location. What was it? What was the name of the location?
Blau House.
Blau's house.
Yeah, it was on my spreadsheet, and it's -71,100, and it's not there. It's the Bored Ape Yacht Club build and the hex. So that,
nice.
I'm
You
sorry
gotta
to
check
say,
that
is
out now.
no longer. Yeah.
So X cool, since that's a tragedy. The location's not there anymore. But let me tell you about Dollhouse.
Okay. You tell me all about it. I'm all ears.
Location -100. There seems to be a show that goes on every Monday night at 10 p.m. Eastern on that location, as well as even tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern. Dollhouse will be hosting Wag Me Wednesday. It's like a weekly event every Wednesday at 9 p.m. So that's something that you can kind of like mark on your calendar and pop in, and it'll always be there. As well as Thursdays with Gucci Toe. Do you remember Gucci Toe?
I do.
Yeah. He's a resident DJ at Dollhouse, and every Thursday he'll play a show there. Yeah. If it's usually it's like a DJ show, but sometimes he gets really crazy with it, and he does his project called Vertex, which is kind of like a DJ show / art show at the same time. Like the artist will be painting as he DJs. Is that correct, Jab? I know that you have participated in that.
Yeah, that's correct. It's live art created during the DJ set. So I believe if Gucci Toe's out there, he can talk more to the music part of it. but the Vertex Series 1, we had Stony Eye was first, and then SRJH was the second artist. NFT Bubblegum was the third artist, and then I was the fourth artist. There's a new series coming out with 4 more artists, but yeah, it's a DJ set created by Gucci Toe, and artwork created live during the DJ set.
Thank you, Scott. So yeah, pop into Dollhouse when one of these nights, and we'll definitely. I mean, Ragers always go down at Dollhouse, even pop-up parties. So like, if you're ever just bored looking and you see like a few people there, like usually Tang has the music playing, and you could park your avatar there and work or mingle.
You could twerk and take a bong rip and all the new emotes.
You know, it's funny you say that. Actually, for a little while at the office, I was going to I forget what the name of the club is right now. There's a club that had music playing 24/7. I would go there often just to leave my character standing there. I can't think of the name right now.
Was it Parcel Party?
No.
Was it MetaZoo?
MetaZoo. Yep. The MetaZoo Club.
Oh, and I was gonna about Zoo, and about to round back to your initial question about preventing bots. I know he was trying to program his Pope booth to prevent bots from just coming in and sucking up all the POAPs or whatever. But yeah, on our New Year's Eve party last year, he was in real time, like, I'm gonna get everybody. He was like looking in his programming and checking all the wallets and like actively seeing who was what am I trying to say? My brain is seeing who is trying to, who's a bot, and like making it so they can't get it. So yeah, I guess just some different users, like Vanessa said, God, my brain just shut off. Shelly Van with the True Band Room in the shop. So,
what was the place that you guys are all hanging out right now that I could teleport to? I just got into the hub.
Oh, current. Oh, go ahead.
It's -89, -85, and it does have a POI star. It's the Decentraland community build.
-89, negative what?
-85. And we're in the DG realm.
DG realm. Got it. I'm in DG.
We will save you a seat. There's 3 lawn chairs yet.
Awesome. I'm on my way. I'm on my way, friends.
Oh, Vanessa, we have to take X Cool to go claim his free campfire sit. Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. Let me look for these coordinates before you come here. Jump over there and claim that. But while I do this, I'd like to reset the room. Thank you guys for everyone for coming in today. See a lot of friendly faces here. I see that the Gucci Toes Vertex Series 2 tweet is pinned at the top. And I also did pin, this is for you, Cool. I did pin like a tweet with like my Twitch and YouTube and actually a link to the current location. So
Got you.
Yeah, if you needed to grab that, there you go. And I'm currently digging through my Discord for these coordinates to give you.
Also, if you
Your legend, much appreciated.
throw your address to me in a DM, and if you need wearables or some new emotes, I will send some your way. And that goes to anybody in the room if you want some more goodies.
Okay, I have the coordinates. Go to 35, -65. And also, there's a new feature on Decentraland where you don't need to type /go-to. You can just type the coordinates, and the numbers will pop up in blue, and you can just click on that.
Dang, I'm old. I'm still typing it in the URL.
Bro, I'm still waiting for like copy paste.
I was legitimately still typing it in the URL right now and using it as a redirect.
Yeah, you know, development.
It still works. It still works.
It does. It does. I remember using that method as well, and actually, like in my early days, like that was the method that worked the best. If I like tried like any other method, it would probably be like I'm alone in a world.
Yeah, like you're not getting to DG right next to your friend.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And so I got a odd job. I got a question from Kevin Kevin in Space Peter Parker. He's asking, how do you access DCL Worlds?
Well, I mean, it's in the video. If you go to the link and you go to YouTube, I have a list of all of the steps. I think I even have a link to my realm, the Odd Job realm, so he can go there and he can check out the latest version of the Giving Tree. But basically, it's a command that you type in the command line. You you need to run a command to deploy your scene, and then you run another command to basically to launch DCL World. So yeah, it's just like 2 or 3 different commands that you do in a command line, and then it pops up a new browser or a new tab in your browser, and then you can go there. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you. And I'm also I'm in the process of grabbing the tweet and dropping it in the Twitch chat as well. I have to say, super psyched that you did this video. Like that, I feel like this video will help a lot of people. Odd Job.
Well, like I said, it's still in alpha, and it may change. Like the process may change, but for right now, it works. I haven't had anybody who's watched the video that has gotten into their world. At least nobody has come back and told me that that's happened. But anyway, yeah, I just want to encourage people to try it out, because that's how things get improved in an open source environment. A dev will make something, and then they need people to try it out and find what works and what doesn't work. I mean, that's the same thing that's happened with DCL Studio. There was an issue where you couldn't load a scene with more than like 5 to 7 players, and I know Neo, if Neo's out there, or some other people, anyway, just like filing an issue on the bug tracker and having the devs check it out. I mean, there needs to be. We talk about communication, we talk about that bridge, and this is completing those last few feet of that bridge between the developers and the creators and the the citizens.
Thank you, Odd Job. Let's see. I should pass the mic over to our good friend To the Moon. You've been patiently waiting. How are you today?
Hey, good seeing you, Sinful, Canessa, and the Decentraland community. I actually had just a question for Odd Job, just regarding the DCL worlds. I just wanted to know what are the effects that this is going to have on the land parcel owners currently. Was there any studies done on this, and do we see any other effects that might come out of this, or will DCL Worlds be the new Decentraland? Do we think that this is going to take over? I'm just trying to get from an investor standpoint, I'm trying to figure out do I want to start buying more names, or do I want to keep aiming at parcels? That's what I'm trying to figure out for myself. I guess maybe some clarity. I would just appreciate your thoughts. I know you're not, It's just your opinion, obviously, but I would just love to hear what. And I'd love to hear your opinion, as well as if there was any like studying, like studies done or research done on the implications that it can have with the current landowners of Decentraland. Thank you.
And I'll jump in kind of to slightly add a little bit to the question, like how many people is it known how many people will be allowed at one time on this parcel? I will give it to Oddjob to kind of answer, and then Malloy came up, and I feel like he came up specifically to answer some questions.
So the answer, I mean, there were a lot of questions in that question, but in terms of like the number of people, the answer is I don't know. We can try it out. We can try it out right now. You know, just go to Oddjob Realm and see how many people show up before it starts to lag and crash. In terms of the effect on the land values, I mean, I have a few thoughts, and one is that, you know, it might, but I think it has to do with accessibility. Right now, it's not a click and you're, you know, one click and you're done sort of thing. It takes a significant amount of problem solving. I mean, that's part of the reason why I created the video, was to just, you know, lower that barrier to entry. But I think that I think both can exist in the ecosystem. I think it's actually really important to have a low barrier for entry in the ecosystem, to be able to encourage people to, I mean, I've said it like this before, letting a million flowers bloom. And nature deals with life in abundance. You know, you see a tree and I'm always getting back to trees, but whatever. A tree will flower and have thousands and thousands and thousands of seeds, right? And I've got a 120-year-old maple out here in my yard, and every time one of those little helicopters fall to the ground, I mean, that's another opportunity for the tree to grow another tree. So we need people to be able to, you know, try different things and fail. And if deploying a scene to a parcel is a foreign thing, it's going to be limited to an elite class. But if anybody with a name, I mean, right now, what is mana at Sinful? Is it like 38 cents? I mean, you got to buy the ETH mana. So for 38 bucks, you can get a 3x4 parcel that you can practice on. But specifically to your question, Tuda, I don't think it will have a deep or lasting effect on the land. And the reason I think this is because of part of the secret sauce of Decentraland is things are in the same geographical space, right? There's geolocation relational builds. So I can be at Dollhouse and I can look across the street and I can see what Madamus is doing at Seed. And if I'm at Seed, I can see what Manadakari is doing at her place. And if I'm at Manadakari's place, I can see what's going on at Peanut Butter's place, right? I mean, provided that I've got my scene load radius set to 4 or whatever. But I think that's one thing that the other metaverses do not have. I haven't been in Sandbox, so I don't know if they have this geo-relational thing going on. But you don't get that in Oddjob Realm, right? Unless I make a little miniature city on those 12 different parcels. There's not going to be any relationship, right? To get from one spatial link or spatial realm, I have to go through a portal. I have to click on a link. I can't see Glitch Cat's. She's got a club that's in the shape of a foot. That's for you, UMAC. But you can't see from there and see Colorfuls or Bleases or Shark Anthony's space. I mean, you know it's there, but I think that's something that Decentraland has that you wouldn't get in a separate realm in the DCL worlds, Tuda. And I think that's a big thing. It's like, you know, prime time, like the major leagues is on the DCL server. And the DCL Worlds I kind of think of as, you know, the farm league or the minor leagues.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Aja.
Yeah, that makes
Go
sense.
ahead, Julian.
That's kind of how I saw it too. At first, to be honest, I was a little took back by it. I was like, "Damn, this sucks! Like, I have all this land, and the land value is going down, and possibly." But then I was thinking, like, but you know what? My land is still really valuable because, it's the parcels near it. So it's like, for instance, in the U.S., the Home Depot is right across, usually like right across the street or right next to the Lowe's home improvement store. So it's like, even though they're competing, but it kind of benefits each other to be next to each other. Just like the casinos in Vegas, they have many casinos there. So that's what Vegas is it brings in, all of them come together and they all, it all helps. Like, even if you don't like this one casino, you can just hop into the next one and go in. So I see what you're saying there. It does make sense that way. I wanted to know though, I guess maybe, is there a like, for instance, if I put a portal, let's say, from my one world scene to another world scene, is that possible? Like, I mean, I guess I can technically kind of connect it through a portal.
I mean, yeah, there's a portal at Wisher, and they can, it's basically, a hyperlink, right? You walk up to it, there's a trigger box, and then you have to activate by clicking on the link in your browser. But what doesn't happen is, like, if you've got a teleporter that's on your estate, and to go from one part of your estate to another, you just walk right through it, right? With the instancing, that's not possible as far as I understand. But in terms of just like a regular clickable portal, yeah, I think so. I mean, that's part of my plan. I mean, I've got a project coming up that I want to have in multiple DCO worlds in different realms, and have people go from one to the next. So stay tuned. I'll let you know.
Thank you. And I just want to add one more point, and I'm kind of done for today. I'll just be listening. But one more point I wanted to add. I think this is actually a really good thing, because it's basically embracing what we have, and it's not going to stop people from building in other worlds. Like, if it's kind of like having like a web2.com name. You have a web2.com, you can literally go into the website, right? Just like you would now. There's millions of websites, so it's not going to really change the fact that the websites don't exist. It's going to change the fact that now we have DCL names, and we could potentially be the next, like, I can't say search engine, but like almost be like the main database kind of thing, where, hey, you got to go into DCL in order to access those lands, or those worlds. So I do find it really fascinating. I'm going to definitely be following this, and I just want to thank you for your work, and that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Can I just hop in here, because as a landowner, as soon as I saw this, I like, my hackles went up. I cringed. Like, having 90,000 parcels has always been Decentraland. That's always been the way that that it was created that way. Like, the land scarcity is something that I just think that I don't want to see sacrificed. And I'm still open-minded to, like, the different the benefits. I realize it's not the same as having land, but my frustration too was how did this happen without putting it to a DAO vote and having the community decide if this is possible. Because I know that there were a lot of proposals last year put up to try to, like, hey, we should make land in the sky, we should add more parcels, we should take over abandoned land. And I realized that the way that this works, it's not necessarily something that we could put a proposal in for. It's just, this is how the software is.
So this, as far as I understand, Kanessa, and I'll try to answer this, and perhaps Malloy can speak to this, or somebody else who's a dev that knows more than I do. But a version of this was possible even before this. It's just another step towards making it more user friendly. Lastrom has come on and said this multiple times, either in this space or in his own Ask Me Anything for Last Slice, that you could go onto the Heroku server and you could deploy parcels there. I know Isle has done that. I don't know if Isle is out in the crowd, but this is, you'd get a link to your specific parcel in the Heroku server, the test server. So you could do that before, and again, it's an alpha. This isn't like a finished published feature. I'm just taking it and drawing people's attention to it because I look at it as an opportunity for people that don't have land, that can gain experience with it. So I don't know in terms of from the governance side how they were able to. I think it may just be that it exists in a gray area, that this is something that they're trying out. It's I can't deploy anything with colliders onto the parcel. So if you're thinking, oh, I'm going to make a parkour course, guess again, because you're just going to fall right through everything. So it's still early days. I don't want to get anybody, in trouble or heat or whatever, but again, I see this as a wonderful opportunity. And I'd like people to exploit it, to use it. I mean, if you're not breaking things, you're not innovating enough, and you're not pressing things hard enough.
Thank you, Scott. I know that there's other games that are utilizing this, this this little loophole in the land, accessibility to land. To me, it's just surprising that, just something that the very value that our world is based on, that there is suddenly a loophole. So I think that, I'm just a small fish in the bigger scheme, but I would guess that, landowners that hold thousands of parcels, I think that we'll just hear more about it, but I don't, it's in the, I don't know if you'd call it software, but yeah, probably, let's see, Malloy can speak more to that. I see people requesting, we're unable to add more speakers, so just hang out if you've requested, and as people kind of transition through, we can let more people come out.
I'll drop down for some people.
I'll drop down too. Thanks
Okay.
for letting me talk.
Thank you, UMAC. Thank you, X-Cool.
Thank you, everybody.
Please,
Hey,
follow.
X-Cool, before you go, did you get your email?
It said it might take a little while.
It's already there. It's usually very, very quick. So what you do is press I on your keyboard, and then at the top you'll see kind of two tabs. One says wearables or avatar, the other one says emote.
Yeah, campfire sit. Let's do it.
Yep. And then the new way to do emotes is you press B, brings up a emote wheel, and then you press the number.
Yep. All right, I got it. Hell yeah! Thank you guys. I really appreciate that. That's awesome.
It's been awesome meeting you, my friend, and I hope to see you soon.
Yeah,
on
likewise.
Decentraland.
I'll be walking around. I'm gonna finish some errands. We'll keep listening to you guys. I'll let someone come up and speak. Appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for everything.
Thank you, X-Cool, and send me your ETH address. I'll send you more emotes and some more wearables.
We'll do it. It's the name. We'll wear it out.
Yeah, I might send a turtle to Sinful. Made a meat stick.
How are you? Here, let me pass it over to Malloy. He's been very, very patient, and then we'll get round to you, Turtle.
Yo, can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah,
yes, sir.
Being here.
Awesome. I was just going to say, actually, I think Meta DJ was just ahead of me, so if they wanted to go first.
Is it on the topic of DCL Worlds?
Yeah, I would say, first of all, thank you for the opportunity to speak. Hi, everyone. I see a lot of friends here. I'll be really brief. curious what Malloy has to say, and I really want to be here more as a listener. But I did just want to add, I'm a loner to DCL. And my insight is that I really like the nature of it being a connected city. So I'm working with a lot of metaverses from an entertainment perspective that are very curated, very focused, very almost like game specific. Whereas an analogy I've been hearing a lot recently is like Decentraland's like The Sims, but the people are real, and people love that. That is a great way to get people to onboard. They say, I'm playing this game, it's Sims, but it's IRL and I'm throwing parties in it, right? Like that sounds really interesting. So for me, I'm just really fascinated with the idea. Like you said, you can walk down the strip. There could be like a whole, like you guys, if you're in the United States and you ever been to Nashville, like they have a whole downtown main strip area that's a whole music street, all nightclubs. Maybe I'm a little biased, I'm on music related. There could be a financial sector, and those sectors exist in Decentraland, but really develop them out. So I'm still learning about worlds. I was recently gifted worlds by Beavers, thank you guys, but I still need to learn about it. But in the meantime, I'm just loving Decentraland. So I think there's still going to be value in Decentraland as it is and what it grows into. And whatever worlds comes to be, hopefully just enables more creativity and doesn't hurt the landowners. And ideally, everything moves in the right direction to benefit the good. So that's all I want to say. I'll rest my mic. I'm going to be a listener here. Appreciate you guys.
Really appreciate your time.
Yo, so I put my hand up before Scott started speaking, but Scott pretty much covered everything. And I really wanted to bring it back to the Moon, because as soon as we got this email kind of describing what Worlds was going to become, one of my first thoughts was, oh, what about land value? But then as you read through the email that was sent out, it specifies that it is early alpha. Do not set any plans, do not create any business plans, any roadmap to create any sort of long-term project using Worlds, because it all is currently in alpha. And the reason it's in alpha and the reason that Worlds exists in the first place is because previously there was the Heroku third-party hosting service, and I believe the main reason this completely came around full circle was never to undermine the value of land, but Heroku, setting up a Heroku server for your test builds and everything else like that was very complicated, and also comes under the remit of trust and authorization. So now third-party builders or people who are under the Talent Hub, which they've registered, they've started signing up loads of people, loads of creators, loads of builders. They want people who come into the Talent Hub to actually register a name, so they are verified citizens of Decentraland, and therefore once they've got their name, they have access to host proof that they're able to execute what they promised to execute inside Decentraland. And I think that's kind of the whole foundation of where Worlds came from. But after watching what Scott's been up to, I would love it for it to go forward, but obviously to always keep the value of land as a priority. That's all I wanted to say. Scott, you nailed it. Cheers, mate.
Thank you, Malloy. I mean, I think that definitely makes me feel better. And I'll be open-minded to anything, really. Yeah, thank you.
So you kind of mentioned, or not, as you spoke, Malloy, I kind of envisioned kind of like a use for DCL Worlds. Kind of like, let's say if anyone's going up for a grant proposal, and within the grant proposal, it's they mentioned that they have the build, they have the proof of concept ready to go, or for the most part, perhaps maybe even deploy it to NFT Worlds, drop it in the proposal, and let people check it out. Oh, Malloy's coming back. I said something wrong. Welcome back, Malloy.
Yeah, I think that's a great use case. I think it's being able to trust that someone has bought into the ecosystem with the name. They're committed, they are verified, and is able to use the world system, or this kind of like temporary world host system, as a proof of work for applying for a grant. Yeah, absolutely. Because I think that's, if you see me ranting on in the old forums or whatever, I'm just like, I'm like, yo, have they done this before? Have they done it before? And if not, you know, like, it's always good to see if people are able to show. And I think that's one of the biggest things. If you're a developer coming into the space, and obviously I'm very fervent, I'm very passionate about developers coming in and build, more content, more experiences, more retention, more engagement, to help boost everything for everyone. The biggest thing is developers who don't own land can't deploy anything. Therefore, they can't show off the fact that they can't build. You know, they can build what they're saying that they will build. And I believe this is a step in the right direction for bringing on fresh people, because as much as we all, you know, we've all been around for, I think, years. I think many of us have been here for years. Like we can kind of know who's stayed and who's gone through the bull market and who's staying for building. And you know, you can't rely this. You know, this is going to sound. I hate to be disruptive, but you can't rely on social authority to give people credence on their ability to build something. So with fresh talent coming into the space, I believe that Worlds is a great opportunity for people to prove their worth and their value without having to be socially coherent. And it gives everyone like a nice opportunity to log into a world and see what people can build and bring to the table. But yeah, thank you very much.
I like
Thank you,
that.
Leroy.
That's a great idea to have that as part of the grant, you know, maybe even part of the grant process where you do show that, you do a proof of concept before you submit your grant, because that would just kind of show the community what your, you know, your talents and your abilities are. So I think that's a really huge asset for that. And now we get to try to figure out who was next. I think Alpha, I believe you came up, and then DCL Curations.
Hey, what's up, DCL family? Shout out to you, Canessa and Simple. Thanks for hosting these spaces. Thanks for allowing me up here. Yeah, I love what everyone's sharing. I appreciate the insight. What I really wanted to backpack on is we shouldn't really, like, me and To The Moons had this conversation before, and when it first came out, we were really headbutting. But then he also started to see, and I'm so bullish on DCL Worlds because I see it more as a tool, like how you guys are saying Heroku, more than a replacement of land. Because imagine if you're new, and that's what I love more about Spatial than Decentraland, is to be able to go into that free world and just create, and then see what you can do. Because imagine if you're brand new and all you have is a name, all you have is enough for a name, and then that one name allows you to go and create this and start playing around in this sandbox. And what if enough time in that DCL world now influences you to go and buy land, because you know the limitations, you know how to actually work around in the builder, you actually know your, like, I feel like I've heard too many people buy land and then find out about the limitations, and it's like you're now 10k 15k in, or let's say one parcel, you're now 3 to 5k in, and you got to learn about these limitations, and now you feel like your vision is kind of like stifled. And I feel like if we give people this chance to play around in this sandbox, even like, I think it's a huge, like, shout out to you, Meta DJ. I honestly, like, I love you, my guy. That's why I feel like we are inclined to give you that name, dude. You've done so much before just meeting you, and I feel like giving you that name, even like a brand new person, like giving them a world, they're just looking at it as an ENS or a subdomain. But if you can educate them, show them an odd job video, and they can see what they can do with this name, now they know it's not just 100 voting power, it's something they can actually use, and they can make a small portfolio. Like, they could go in there and just play around, put up things that they've worked on, just build this small scene, and then expand on that. And then, I'm telling you, I think this is going to influence people to buy more land long term than it is going to, like, stifle the land price, because people are just going to mainly use this as a tool to access real land.
The world, so to say, is gonna be like their Facebook, or like, you know, just a show gallery. Like, hey, go check out my world. You'll see all my work. You'll see all my links there.
Yeah, like, what if you could optimize the scene and not like throw so much on that scene, but you allow someone to go visit like a link where they can see something. Like, let's say you have a how-to room. I'm just making that up, but let's say you have a how-to room, whole bunch of videos from Odd Job, DCL Curations, all these. But what you do is you just go into this room that has all these links that you can like click on, rather than it being on your like full main property where you're trying to like showcase art or you're trying to showcase other things.
That's a good idea. And then it also is nice to have, like, sometimes you want to deploy a scene, but you don't want it visible on your property because it's, you know, you're not ready to to show it publicly. I'm thinking like a giant birthday penguin for Sinful that I accidentally like deployed, and then somebody kindly put it on Twitter. I'm like, no. So like even businesses that are trying to deploy for a client before they're ready to show it to the world, I can see that as, yeah, like when you say it's used as a tool, that kind of is like my brain can wrap itself around that a little bit better.
Yeah, before I step down and pass over the mic, I just want to say, yeah, because if like what Malloy said, I completely agree. Like, definitely don't build a whole roadmap on this, but just be aware that it will expand. Like, they do tell us, like, they give us a hint that they are gonna probably throw this to the DAO for help because it's gonna need some future support. So it might go from one name, allowing, like, right now we can only create to one name. Even if you have 100 names, you can only have one world to one name. But soon it could be, if you have 100 names, you have 100 worlds. But it's going to need that support, and I think it's going to take time to grow. But yeah, let's definitely just learn it as much as we can. But yeah, thank you again, guys. I'm going to switch back to listener, and if something inspires me to come back up, I'll be back.
Thank you,
Alpha. You've heard me hint at name rentals, so you never know, that might come. I'll pass the mic over to DCL Curations and then Existential. How are you, Curations?
Hello. This has been a very interesting conversation. I too got that email and was curious about it, and I have literally been taking notes throughout this. So first off, I'd like to say that I think it's really cool. And in terms of impact to Decentraland land values, I think that the current whale landowners have really just done everybody a disservice because they're not spending money to build on the land. There's so much vacant land. They're just holding it and they're expecting the value of mana and land to go up, and it's kind of shot them in the foot. And so I think it's kind of a little bit of a reality check that, like, hey, we need people building for value to go up. Value doesn't just go up because you wish for it and pray at night, right? So I think it's really cool because the barrier to entry has gotten so high from a land price perspective. But I also think it's really interesting because it shows how I guess just like the versatility of an NFT. You could take any NFT, like say you take the other side, right? Say you take the other side NFTs and you say that anybody that owns the other side NFT now has a virtual space to Decentraland or something like that, right? They just tied it to a Decentraland name, but why couldn't it be tied to literally any other NFT and then just looped back? So I just think that's really interesting, and I think it's a big evolution in this process. But at the same time, people I guess worrying about current land values and current prices, I feel like it's like gambling addicts where they're like, well, mana was at $5 and now it's not at $5. And so, we want to hold our land and not sell the land, and we don't want to fund grants because we have to swap mana, and we want to wait until mana goes up to do things again. And it's like, everything was fucking inflated. Like, take a reality check. We still have work to do. Come on, people. But then I heard, I forget who it was, but they mentioned that there were no colliders, I believe, so it must have been Odd Job, that there were no colliders in the worlds. So I do think that is probably like the biggest differentiator, where you can go and you can visually experience things, but you wouldn't be able to, I guess, 3D physically experience things. But I do think it's an awesome way for people to be able to showcase their work and have that low barrier to entry. And through Sandstorm, we're sponsoring these builds and stuff, and a lot of those people, they don't own land. They've never been able to showcase their work to anybody before, and now they have an opportunity. And now if they spend $100, or I guess $38 now, they would be able to have even more opportunities. So I just think that's really awesome.
Well, one thing that's interesting about that, it's similar to land deeds, where you can't delegate build rights, like operator rights, to let somebody else build on your land. So, if you're thinking about bigger businesses doing this, like for clients, like on a big scale, they can't do that unless they just transfer the name to whoever the builder is. So really, like, it does, that kind of is I don't know, you could buy a $40 name, and then that's a pretty cheap go around. But you do have to have that name in order to build on it. So I'd be curious also, Scott, if you know of any, like, if you own the name, is there any talk of like being able to delegate operator rights? Because you have to be a builder in order to deploy with the current way that DCL Worlds is. Another thing that you brought up, like kind of interesting about like the names, that these are tied to NFTs, like, really, like, we're compartmentalizing NFTs into different things. Like a name is a description, a wearable is something we wear, land is something we walk on, but essentially they're all just tokens at the end of the day. So my question is, could we tie these DCL worlds to wearables as well? Because a wearable is also just an NFT, just like a name is. So then you could own a wearable and have access to a DCL world. Just food for thought.
I echo those questions, and I would also like to hear if those are possible.
I'll delegate you my name, Canessa. Just let me know.
Okay, I'll build something. I'll build something interesting for it. Thank you.
Existential. Oh, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, like, a creator could, could they, like, in theory, make a mythic wearable? You buy that wearable, and then you can deploy. I don't know, and then like maybe like in the future, maybe that's. I'm just thinking, like, if I did that, let's say I made a mythic, maybe I'd have a Canessa block, and then every holder of that mythic could build on there. Like, I don't know, we don't know where the limitations are. Like, who knows? So just sometimes my mind starts going, and I'm like, okay, what can we do with that? But I'll stop talking. Existential, you're next.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And let me say, Canessa, Buzz Lightyear has it right. To infinity beyond, there are no limits. Also, I want to beg and plead, and I think you'll agree with me, Sinful, on this one. Please don't use the word metaverses. It's one metaverse. Go ahead, Sinful. I got a little bit more, but if you wanted to add to that.
No, I was laughing.
Thank you. Then I also want to mention, if you participated in the Vuelta Pyramid, their video is out. I'm so proud and happy to say I'm in there twice. But now to the subject, I just want to add that we have the portals to spatial. We want interoperability, so I don't see the difference between those and having the worlds within Decentraland. So that's pretty much my comment. Thank you.
Thank you, Existential, for coming up and sharing. Alpha, oh, you're back up. What's up, Alpha?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Canessa inspired me though. I do wanted to touch up on existence. What's up, my man? I do want to say I agree with you. Like, I feel like if we could, when onboarding, relate something to spatial right away, and that could be something they relate to, where we could let them know, hey, barrier entry is pretty low. We have something just like spatial. We just call it DCL Worlds. I think that would be their first way in. And who understands the metaverse other than other people in different sides of the metaverse? I like what you also said, existence. There is one metaverse where it's one internet.
I can tell you're catching yourself on that. I threw somebody else off one time when I brought that up.
No, I believe in you. I've had different conversations with different people about it is one metaverse, and it's not metaverses, it's virtual worlds within the metaverse. And Decentraland is a decentralized virtual world within the metaverse.
I know you agree with me. I know we're on the same page with that 100%. I just meant I kind of sound like you were trying to catch yourself from saying the word.
True. Okay.
I could be wrong.
What I wanted to say
That's all.
is, Vanessa, what you inspired me is, I feel like we could also look at these DCL worlds as like timestamps. Like, if you like, what I love what Ruston did. Oh, I don't know if he's here. Oh, there he is. He is in here. Shout out to you, Ruston. Ruston bought, like, he mentioned the name Cove when we were all recently talking about this, and that could be one of the worlds that he has the Ruston Cove always alive in, instead of like having to update his land here and there. You know, he could have it always live there, and people could just check it out by changing their realm to there. I think that could be another way we use this tool too.
Totally, Alpha. And just to bring it back a little bit, you had mentioned you had done the comparison between DCL Worlds and Spatial. In a way, I almost feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, I thought one time I heard that Spatial has like a $30 a month fee if you wanted like the Pro or whatever. At that point, like, wouldn't Decentraland be ahead of the game? Because like right now our names are $38 plus gas $41, $43. That's it, you know. So at this very moment, yeah, Decentraland might be ahead of the game, like might be a sleeper.
No, I completely agree. I completely agree. And I think when people realize that, like, these names aren't just the 100 voting power. I mean, you've always been a believer in names, but I feel like now you're locked in. Now it's bull time, and I feel like names now have a true utility. It's not just 100 voting power in our DAO. You can now have your mini Heroku, you know, and it can inspire. Like, one thing it's been inspiring me is like, let me start working on my worlds. Let me see what I can deploy. You know, I don't know any SDK. You know, I'm always talking to Mariana to like help me. I don't know any builder. I'm always like finding another. I have artists on my team. I'm always like finding people around me to be resourceful from, but I don't truly know it. But I feel like this DCL world kind of inspired me. Like, let me just lock myself in a room and play around with this world. That's what I did. Like, I love what Meta DJ said earlier. This is Sims. If we started, I'm gonna start using that. I'm gonna start saying this is a real Sims. Think of it as Sims, and I'm just gonna roll with that because you don't want to confuse them with all this metaverse, blockchain, Web3.
So I do have, I guess, one question. What really is the difference between this then and just deploying through the SDK to a test environment?
Colliders?
I mean, if you, like, you're talking about just having it like in Go Early, like the test environment?
Yeah, I mean, anybody that I would want to experience that test environment, you know, I could share the code and have them deploy, and everybody can go and experience my test environment. I could even upload it to Builder and share it with people to experience my test environment.
Well, Scott, you've got your hand up. I'm going to let you answer that. And I know we've got some talented builders in the audience. So if anybody else has input on that. Oh, here comes Malloy. Malloy, you just stay up here. We'll make you a bed. We'll make it all nice and cozy up here.
I'll actually defer to Malloy and let Malloy answer the question. I had my hand up for something else.
Hey, I was just going to say, bringing it back to the fact that I think over the last 2 months there's been a massive initiative in reaching out to the community, finding experienced builders, even opening up to beyond, you know, the daily users of DCL to find new talent. And they've created the whole talent hub. And there's so many people registered on the talent hub to help build things between, you know, brand activations, you know, people looking to actually start a committed business inside the Web3 space, etc. And I think one of the biggest things is having those builders, instead of kind of like these unknowns outside, it's to bring them in to Decentraland via names. So if previously you could just create, you know, your build and put it on a Heroku server and then send it to someone via a link. Now, when you receive it from someone that you've spoken to on the Talent Hub and they send it via their name, you know there's an element of trust that is reinforced in that development process, as opposed to some random link that anyone could set up a host on. But But yeah, I hope that somewhat answers.
DCL
Thank you,
curious.
Malua. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, just wondering, did that answer your question?
Not necessarily. But that did lead me to a follow-up question where is the Talent Hub, is that the same as the Verified Partners Registry, or are those two separate things? Because I think today is the first time I've heard of like the Talent Hub.
I think it is the same thing. It's run by the Metaverse Studios group, who sent out the email. Yeah, I believe it's the exact same thing.
Okay, got it. That makes sense. All right, appreciate it.
Take it away, Scott.
Okay, I wanted to make sure that everybody had their, able to ask their questions and get them answered about DCL Worlds, because I was looking to change the topic to Miami, which is in a couple of days now. You guys cool with that, or what?
Let's see. Any questions? Any question? Anyone? No? Going once? Going twice? No hands are up? It's all you, Scott.
So virtual and CK Bubbles and this has mostly been virtual, but we've got an event planned for Tuesday the 29th from 4 to 7. My internet is down again today, so I'll have to go look for the tweet later. But it's basically close to downtown Miami, considering that being centrally located, because I think the Women's Web3 Summit is up by the airport. Decentraland Miami is downtown, and then Metaverse Miami is South Beach. So we picked that as a central location. The 29th is not necessarily exactly in the middle of the week, but kind of in the middle of the week. We figured that's when most people would be there. I think we've got a virtual, if you're out there, correct me, but we've got about 125 people that have RSVP'd. Our swag just showed up at Virtual's house, so we've got stickers and keychains and buttons that we're going to be giving out. And I saw Wisher in the crowd earlier. We're going to be giving away a bottle of Wisher too. Haven't figured out how we're going to do that giveaway, but if people are in Miami for any of those 3 conferences, or for Art Basel at the end of the week, definitely want to encourage you to look us up, to stop on by, to meet us in the flesh with our meet avatars, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, just wanted to throw that out there, because when DCL meets IRL, magic happens.
Thank you, Scott. And I did pin a tweet at the top. I think the tweet you were referring to was Virtuel's pinned tweet.
That's it.
Okay, yep, I pinned it at the top. That is very exciting. Man, I should really go on to listen to Virtuel speak. Give him some support, show some love. It is Tuesday, so no Beyond the NFT that day.
Yeah, Virtual is going to be speaking. Gigi Casimiro is going to be speaking. I think that same day. We picked that time so that it wouldn't conflict with anybody that we knew that was going to be presenting. Also, Virtual has created a Google Calendar. Right now, there's just a few events on there. I know that there's other people that have talked to me about having other events going on. So as soon as you have a confirmed event, just let us know, and we can add that to the calendar, just so you can go to like one of 2 places to get your information, and instead of having to go to multiple different locations if you're DCL focused.
Okay, so with these IRL events, like I've always had the question, maybe now since it's coming closer and closer, maybe someone could, it's time to ask and someone can help. Okay, so a lot of individuals sometimes have their MetaMask wallets, linked on their phone, like they're logged in and stuff. Are there any security measures that anyone needs to take before, attending these events? Like, you know how, like, in the past, this is like pertaining to credit cards, let's say, I think even maybe like phones, like with Apple Pay and shit, like people coming through with FRID scanners and, just siphoning information that way by getting close to individuals. So, what are some thoughts, even like from anyone up here in the speaker panel on, MetaMask security when it comes? Like, should you just like go with your ledger wrapped around your neck?
I would love to hear this too. I don't know, but I know that like NFT NYC, people were saying, don't have your seed phrases on your phone. That if you have Apple and you have your MetaMask wallet, it's more easily accessible to get those. I don't know about bringing a ledger. I think like if anything, you could bring a laptop and like delegate. I don't know, like just bring a dummy account, maybe. I don't know. Scott, you came back up. What are your thoughts?
How will you confirm your monkeys though?
Oh my gosh, you might have to right click save. I don't know. That's rough.
Yeah, I mean, for all the monkey parties that need monkey pictures for access, like how will you get into your MetaMask? Maybe a ledger is important. It's like, I don't know.
I think in the future, like we might not think about it now, but in the future, I think that is a huge loophole for hackers or ill-willed players. They would probably look at these conferences as a payday, and they might get information, and who knows? I mean, it's a crazy new world we're in, and we don't have the protocols necessarily in place to keep us safe.
So,
Oh, go ahead, Scott.
Oh, I was just going to say, I can talk about Metaverse Miami just a little bit. I was in on their space a couple of days ago. The idea behind their credentials for their event was not a, try to raise money up front and, like take the money and run. It was to build value over time. So I believe they have, as a function of their attendance NFT for Metaverse Miami, like if you're not going to be at the event, they have a smart contract that you can enable, and you can loan it out to somebody. But basically, you can delegate your credentials to somebody else. So to answer that specific question, yeah, you could have a dummy wallet or a burner wallet. You could delegate your Metaverse Miami credentials to that wallet. That solves that one problem, right? Your monkeys and all the other stuff, I don't know what to tell you. But that way you could be, you could certainly be more secure. I haven't looked into, the mechanism for doing that. I just know that the two people that initiated and created the Metaverse Miami conference were on the space, and they talked about that as being, fundamental to their conferences going forward.
Thank you, Scott. And wow, I mean, Metaverse Miami, maybe some NFT projects could learn from that example. And to bring it back to kind of what point that Canessa had touched on, like that these events could become like just a payday for hackers. I mean, I know some very, very tech savvy people that like to attend these hacker cons in Las Vegas like every year, and the stories that they come back with, like, yeah, we hacked an entire club, we hacked an entire hotel. Like, thank God they're white hat hackers, but like they'll gather around and be like hacking into stuff. So like kind of would like to know, like, if they are currently like even like working on, you know, just playfully hacking what MetaMask accounts.
Yeah, and I think it's important to just to point out there that you might be complacent or nonchalant, like, well, it's just my MetaMask, I don't have much on it. But like I'm just thinking your seed phrases on your phone, if you've ever used the mobile, well, maybe you don't today, but what happens in 3 years from now if mana is some crazy price, or you are, you know, fortunate enough to buy land, or your name's like, I just I worry about security, that like having a looser attitude, you know, in the past, like, just because I that's how I was. Like, I didn't, when I first got into Decentraland, I was trying to figure out how to use my wallet. Like, I'd never used a MetaMask before. I'm lucky I did send one parcel of land to like a dead address, but like, I'm lucky I didn't make bigger mistakes than that. So I'm just thinking, like, how many people are going to go out there if people do have the capacity to grab your seed phrases from your mobile device. Maybe they don't do anything with it now. Maybe they look and your account's worth $50, but maybe it's worth more in the future. So I just think, like, in this space, because it's a frontier, it's just like the Wild West. I don't know, like, you gotta, like, we don't know what's going to be possible in a year from now, in 2 years from now. And I don't know, I, for one, I'm like, God, I can't believe I didn't like do some stupid shit and like click on some links, and you know, the nice helpful people in the Decentraland Discord, when I said I couldn't get in and they started helping me, I just needed to give them my seed phrases, and you know, and then I kind of thought maybe they were not to be trusted, but go ahead, DCL.
That's funny. I was going to say, like, I went, I don't know, 2 years without a hack or a scam, and man, I thought I had it all down. And then I took a little midday nap one time, and I woke up to a MetaKey tweet notification that they were minting something, and I was so excited, and I clicked on that, and I was like, hell yeah, I'm gonna mint the hell out of this. And then I got scammed, and they took my luckily, so it was really weird. Like, whenever you signed the transaction, it seemed like it just randomly took a NFT from my wallet. It wasn't my hard wallet, but my my hot wallet. But that's where I have like most of my DCL stuff. And so what's interesting is that the NFTs that were taken were 2 of my DCL names. So hearing all of this stuff about DCL names and land, now I'm getting a little triggered, because at first I was like, you know, it wasn't my main name, I don't care too much. And now I'm like, fuck. But then it was 2 I'm a Degens and something else, I think. And I was actually talking to Lastrum about it, because they also took my last slice, which he actually bought back for me. Shout out to Lastrum. But it legitimately seemed like somebody from DCL was the one that had set it up. Like, everything that was taken and the thing that was offered were all like things that are well known within the DCL kind of community, which is interesting. Oh, and then just to the other point about the casual hacking, I did have like a quick story. One of my buddies who was a programmer in college, he had his senior thesis where they had to, you know, deliver a big presentation on some technical function, and his was something called like the spider hack, or I don't know, something like that. And he showed me his paper, and it was like a thesis where you could hack over 100,000 emails in like, you know, a week and grab all these passwords. And I was like, oh, but you know, isn't this